So I grew up in a small country town called Kosciuszko on the south coast of New South Wales. Growing up, I played some sports, but I was never really an athletic kid. I was never a runner. I absolutely hated running. The town and the area is so small that there really wasn't much opportunity to work. You know, there was the only options are really join the cheese factory, work a bigger cheese, or, you know, join the army. So I eventually ended up joining the army when I left school. When I first got to Kosciuszko and finally got through all the training for the army, fitness was forced onto us. And running, like they used to force running onto us a lot, and I absolutely hated it. I would do anything in my power that I could to get out of it. And I mean, like, literally, I would do anything I could. I was a completely different person back then. So when I finished training and I got up to Townsville with my first posting, my girlfriend at the time cheated on me, and we ended up breaking up. And I guess to get back at her, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and start getting in health and fitness now, start building my body up. I didn't know it at the time, but that was like creating this new lifestyle, and it became habit. And eventually it's just something that I continue on doing. And at the time I still absolutely hated running. I wouldn't do it, but I was in the gym and I was training like most days. In 2023, I did a course called the Run Change Program. And what that basically involves is it teaches you to run slow and start to enjoy running. You know, I took the course on a whim, and it turns out that I actually started to really enjoy it. Then in turn, you do the course, you start getting better at running, you run slowly, you keep improving, and you see the results as you're doing it. And, you know, that course was like the critical turning point in my love for running, and I really started to enjoy it from that point. So from that course, I decided that I'd sign up for the Gold Coast Half Marathon, and I did that in July 2023. And then that went quite well, so I was like, oh, I'll push on now, I'll try and do something more. So I did a race with Legacy at the end of 2023. It was a trail run, it was a 30k, and I enjoyed that too. And those first two races went really well, and I figured, well, 100 kilometers is really only 3 times the 30 kilometer trail race I'd already done. Like, how hard could it be, right? Well, stupidly I went all in, and I decided that I would sign up for the Ultra Trail Australia in 2024. So I went to training, and I did training for that for maybe the 5 months leading up to that. I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. And I thought that I'd done enough training and I had the nutrition down pat. All the research that I'd done off YouTube and the like. But I was not prepared for the suffering and just being out there for so long. You know, I thought it was only going to be, 10 or 11 hours, but no. It pushed way past that point to 18 hours. My legs were cooked. I had an issue with my ITB, and basically I was suffering from the 50 kilometer point onwards. I think that I just wasn't prepared mentally for what that would look like. I'd done all the physical training, but I'd never done anything that hard mentally. And I think that is the critical point going from a normal marathon to an ultra marathon is you need to have that mental piece dialed in, and you need to be able to, keep going despite your body wanting you to stop, and you want to lie down, but you have to keep going. So I've done a lot of ultra marathons since then, and I feel like every race seems to teach you something different. It helps to build your running resume and different problems to tackle. There's a thing called fox cunning, and the fox cunning is a saying that means you can find a way to do something even in the hardest circumstances. You've got to get it done. There's no other way apart from through. In a week's time, I take on the Kosci Miler. It's a 161 kilometer course. It's got 5,000 meters of elevation. To say I'm nervous is an understatement. But I've done the training. I'm going to give my best shot. I'm going to push, try and get it done. I'll have my family there to support me. I know that when I get to the finish line, my daughters are going to be there. My partner's going to be there. And I know there's moments where I'm just going to want to lay down and just give up, but I have to be confident that these legs will be able to carry me through and that I'll be able to get the job done at the end of the day. Just got to get to that finish line. When we arrived, we explored the expo. I got my mandatory gear check, I checked into the race, and I got some photos before we finally started heading back towards the caravan park. Leading up to Kosci, I'd done a 20-week training block with 15 weeks of active volume building, 3 recovery weeks, and a 2-week taper before the big day. Just checked in for Kosciuszko, heading back. Gonna go to Woolies and get some stuff and then do the drop bags. Just caught up with a guy called Finn. He's doing the 100k, so good luck tomorrow, Finn. And then I'll catch up with Ricky, one of my mates back at school. He's gonna do the 100k as well, so catch up with him later. But good luck to you guys for tomorrow. I hope you have a great day out there on the trails.
How you going?
Yeah, good. Just packing it, sorting it out. Ready for the race. Should be fun. No, just basically sorting out like the daytime stuff and then the nighttime stuff. Especially when you're not going to be there, so need to make sure that's set up really well. At the time where you'll be supporting me, I don't really need to worry about that too much. So hopefully, we'll see.
Are you gonna make a bag of stuff for me to bring for you?
Yeah, I'll make one as well, just a shopping. So I've set up my drop bags for tomorrow's race. I have the village green, which is 10 kilometers from the finish line. Bullocks Flat, which is on the way to the village green, is about 20 kilometers before then. And then the power station, which is, you go through the same drop bag twice, out and out and back to the power station. The idea behind this is that Beck's going to be supporting me throughout the day. And then at night, I'll basically be on my own and I'll be relying on these drop bags. So inside, I basically just got shoes, socks. I've got some energy drinks just to keep me going in case the wakey tablets that I have don't work. I've got wakey tablets, additional electrolytes, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So the plan is that these will be self-supporting and hopefully just help to get to the finish line. At 3 a.m. on Friday morning, 380 runners stood in silence on the start line of the Kosci Miler. There was a mutual respect, knowing that everyone here knew of the challenge and the pain they were about to experience, but they still decided to show up anyway.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The light of head torches snaked along the Jindabyne Lake as we made our way towards the trout hatchery and then up into the mountains. gone up to the 30-kilometer mark now. Feeling really good so far. I've like worked like a few niggles out of the legs early. And now it's just kind of like smooth sailing, so hopefully it continues on like that. I'm just heading down now into Bullock's Flat, down to the first checkpoint that Beck can get to. It's the second checkpoint, but Beck couldn't get the kids out of bed any earlier, so yeah, just heading down there now. I'll see Beck, and then yeah, hopefully Morale will say hi as we climb over to Perisher. Have to go through, I'll come back. Hey? You too, mate. Good job.
Alright, we're at 76 Ks. Thanks, Lex. How are you feeling?
So mentally I feel good, but my quads are really sore. I have to like walk around from this point.
You have to what?
Walk, run. Yeah, so it's going to be very slow second half.
So how many Ks are you at?
106.
Alright, there you go.
55 to go.
Come and dance.
As the sun set over the snowy mountains, I knew that I was going to be in for a long night of suffering. My legs were completely shot, and every single step felt like I was being stabbed with a knife, either in the quad, or the calf, or the hamstring, depending on how I stepped. All I could do was manage to walk. I couldn't run anymore. My legs didn't want to. Every time I tried to run, I would feel my heartbeat raise, and I would feel sick. It then proceeded to get colder and colder as the night went on. It started raining, and the wind picked up. It absolutely ripped through my clothes, whipping a snow breeze through the mountains. Every time we went to a gully, you would get hit by these walls of wind. My clothes got drenched from the rain, and took every single ounce of strength to carry on and continue throughout the night. At 6 a.m, I looked up at Eagle's Nest, which was covered in a blanket of ice rain, and I knew that I had at least another 4 hours of absolute agony ahead of me before I get to the finish line. Everything in my body was telling me this was a bad idea and that I should quit, but I wouldn't have been able to live with that. I had to get to the end. I had to finish what I set out to do. We don't run these races for glory. It's all about the challenge and finding your limit. It's about the friends and the like-minded individuals that you meet along the way. It's about showing the next generation that hard things are possible. It's about showing up, even on your darkest days. But most importantly, it's about finding your why and the motivation that drives you to keep going, even in the darkest of hours. So through my running and through taking all these races, my main goal is to be an inspiration to my daughters through my running. You know, I want to show them that hard things are possible, that anything you set your mind to is achievable if you put in the effort and are willing to do the work to get there. Whatever they decide to do in life, even if it isn't trail running, like I might be a little bit biased, but, you know, I'll be there to support them. And I know that by doing this and showing them, they'll have that work ethic and they'll be able to do hard things as well. To my beautiful partner, Beck, thanks for supporting me in all the crazy endeavours and all the crazy races that I decided to do. and it's super inconvenient, I know that, but you know, I appreciate you being there, I appreciate your support, and I wouldn't have it any other way.